Hello Boom Hunters and welcome to this video where I'm going to explain our latest indicator as of today, the Boom Hunter X Alerts Indicator. I'm going to talk about what it is, how to use it, and we'll explain the most important part of it, which is in the settings. Keep in mind that I'll be using the beta version and the final indicator shouldn't look much different than this. With that in mind, let's just begin. After you've been granted an access from Verified, you can add the indicator to your chart. And you will notice there is not much going on a chart, and that was designed on purpose. As in the settings, you will activate the beast. Let's take a moment here to talk about this indicator and what its benefit. It is an alert indicator for Boom Hunter X that was made to accompany it. It wouldn't make much sense without having Boom Hunter X on your chart. Therefore, we'll be having all three Boom Hunter X presets on our charts for this video. Boom Hunter X, as most of you already know, doesn't have any more coding space to include all of these complicated alerts. It is fully maxed out. But that wasn't the only reasons why Verified made it as a separate indicator. The benefits of having a separate alert indicator are as followed. The ability to set alerts to specific signals for all three Boom Hunter X presets using only one alert, or more if you are an alert freak. The ability to see pivots and pullback signals on a chart directly and control how many of them you want to see. More on that later. This indicator will also allow Verify to develop a screener where we can monitor specific major Boom Hunter X signals for a set numbers of charts and get them all in one alert. I'll make a separate video if needed when Verified finish making the screener. On the top of the settings page, you can set the alert frequency, how many pullbacks, and pivot labels you want to show on your chart. Now keep in mind that Boom Hunter X never repaint. However, if you set the alerts frequency to once per bar, some signals will be gone by the time the bar close, just because simply there was a lot of volatility before the bar closes, and it ended up closing not in a signal favor. So for example, if you're setting up an alert on the monthly time frame, it is advised not to set it up on bar close because it will be days and sometimes weeks before you actually get the real signal. It is advised, however, to set it up on once per bar, and when you get that signal, just go to your faster time frame and see what kind of setup is there. Now you understand the alert frequency, let's look at the show pullbacks and show pivots label. The number you see next to show pullbacks and show pivot labels are basically how many bars you're looking back at. So for example, if you put 100, you're looking at those labels only showing on your chart for the last 100 bars. If you're going to be backtesting, however, I'll advise you to set it up to 20,000. That way you can see all the way back to as far as TradingView can show you. If you want to keep your chart clean, 50 or 100 should be just enough. Now these labels have color to them, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the settings, you will find the label colors for each presets there for you conveniently. So if you like to mix up the presets labels on your chart, feel free to change the colors so you know exactly what you're looking at. The next thing we're going to do is setting up the presets settings. You can find that just passing all these check marks. And you're going to find the presets 1, presets 2, and presets 3 settings exactly as you see them on your Boom Hunter X. So what you want to do here is to set up the preset settings to match your Boom Hunter X presets settings. Exact. As we always say, the default settings are just good enough as they are, and they work for all charts and time frames. But in case you have changed your Boom Hunter X settings for any reasons, please update the preset settings on the alert indicator to match your Boom Hunter X. Next step is to choose which alerts you want to show for each presets on your chart. This part is the meat and butter for this alert indicator, and Verified put them on the top for easy access because you are going to use them a lot. I have divided them into 4 different sections: pivots, Craig's crossovers and cross unders, channel median crosses, and pullback signals for each Craig line. In the pivot section, you will see your typical pivot labels. You have the higher low, the first higher low, lower low, reverse up, lower high, first lower high, higher high, and reverse down. So let's check all the pivots for presets 2 so we can see them on the chart. Now looking at the chart, you will notice some lower highs are labeled in red color and some of them are labeled in yellow. And you just need to know that the yellow ones are basically labeled to be the first pullback, as you see down here on the chart after crossing the second oscillator. And this one is red because it's the second one after the first lower high, which is labeled in yellow. Feel free to change the pivot's colors at the bottom of the setting page as we discussed earlier. The next section is covering the crossover and the cross unders, all 3 different Craig lines. And you can simply see we got the crossovers on the top and the cross unders in the bottom. And the one after that, we're going to see the crossover channel median and the cross under channel median. Now, unlike the pivots and the pullbacks that we're going to be talking about next, checking these boxes will not show anything on your charts because you can see them simply on your Boom Hunter X. And the last part we've got here is the pullback signals for each Craig line. As you can see, they're a little bit different for each presets, but simply what you want to know is presets 2 have a little bit extra there. Let's take some time to explain these pullback signals. A long example for a pullback is when the selected Craig line is traveling up and the oscillator pivoting below that. And for a short is basically the opposite. First pullbacks happen after the crossing of a Craig line. It is very important alert as it is unfiltered and it will alert you for every first pullback. Now we are down to the special ones for Craig C on presets 2. The first pullback with the direction will alert you after the Craig line changes color/direction, like what we see here. Checking the box next to Craig C, use P1, will basically uses the pivots from presets number 1 to filter the pullback signals for presets number 2. I encourage you to experiment with this and see for yourself. And lastly, Craig C filtered. This will basically filter out the pullback signals when they are too far away from the Craig C line. It's great to use this on a chart for live trading because the signals are stronger. Now, let's talk about how to set up an alert. Basically, you open up the settings and you choose your alert frequency first. I'm on a daily time frame, so I would like it to alert me once per bar. And I want to check. I like presets 2 because it's the main oscillator for Boom Hunter X, and I'll be alerted every time it has a higher low, first higher low, lower high, first lower high, and also I want to be alerted for Craig C first pullback, and also Craig C first pullback with direction. And while we're at it, let's just add cross over the median and cross under the channel median. And before we set up the alert, let's test it. So I'm gonna go all the way to 20,000 and I wanna see it on a chart. So let's take a look at this. Let this finish loading. After finish loading, just take a look at the signals and see if you like them or not. So basically, I will be alerted here, here, here. These are some great signals. Let's go back. Great. This is with direction. As you can see, it turns red and it's going down. So I got alerted here. Yeah, I like that. So what I want to do now is basically click here, add alert, and keep this the way it is. Any alert function call. You do not change this, please. Set up the expiry date and name your alert, BTC 1D, and create. Now this will alert me whenever any of these signals shows up on a chart. I will get alerted for the lower high and the higher low and the first lower high and all of these signals whenever they show up. Now keep in mind that the alert itself will alert you regardless of the number of the show pivots and the show pullbacks. These numbers are just basically to show you on the chart. In the background, the alert will look for them regardless if they are showing on your chart or not. Also, the alert will follow the alert frequency you have set up. If you set it up on a bar close, it will not alert you until that bar close. This will be useful on the 15 minutes and 1 hour time frame because this is what you want. But if you want to be alerted for every time the signal shows up, regardless of the volatility of that bar, please set it up on once per bar. Also keep in mind that the alert you already set up will still work even if you change the settings. So for example, if you had that BTC 1 day alert, but then we ended up choosing other stuff or unchecking stuff, that alert already been set up and it will alert you for whatever settings you have selected before setting up the alert. If you want to set up a new alert, just basically change the settings to your own liking and set up the new alert and you will get both, or delete the previous one if you don't want it anymore. And this is it. You pretty much now know everything about the settings and you know how to set it up and how to use this amazing alert indicator. However, do not rely on the signals alone. They are just there to alert you to potential big moves and get you looking at the chart at an important time. So always look at your Boom Hunter and always check your channels and trend lines and see where you're at in the chart and do multi-time frame analysis. These things are still very important. Just because you have an alert indicator does not mean you blindly follow the signals. You will get yourself wrecked. So please don't do that. I wish you all the best. Until next time.